Hey, it's Clay at claytrader.com. This will be my top 10 stocks as we head into Wednesday, November 29th. This will be a technical analysis breakdown. So if you are someone that uses charts within your trading, or maybe you're just interested in learning more about charts and how they can be used as a tool to help make good decisions as a trader, this will be a video for you. First off, a couple clarifications. Number one, the candlestick that you see right there will still be moving around. That's because the market's still open for a small amount of time. But I like to do these videos when the market is still open because sometimes we can capture some really interesting late day price movement. And then second, I'll be using the 30-minute time frame, meaning each one of these candlesticks here represents 30 minutes worth of time. So stock number one, ticker symbol RDHL. Did this one in yesterday's watch list, and wow, did this thing just continue to explode today. So the first thing I'm going to do is actually extend this line out because this is just going to be based on a foundational rule in charting which states when levels of resistance are broken and closed above, you want to see them act as support. And you can see actually that played out perfectly this morning. Price gapped up, slight little pullback, but look right where the pullback found some support right at that previous area of resistance, and then it recovered very nicely. So moving forward, if there is any sort of pullbacks, then, I mean, technically speaking, the price could drop all the way down here, which would be a pretty big pullback. And if it maintains there and then bounces, I mean, think about what you would still have. You would still have a set of lows here. You'd have that low there. You'd have that low down here. And if you envision those as stair steps, the stair steps would very clearly be still going in the upwards direction. And again, that's assuming a pretty deep pullback, which just really illustrates how powerful of a day it actually was today. In fact, let me just get rid of that level down there as it served its purpose for now. From more of so a big overarching standpoint, the level you'll want to watch from a support standpoint is all about that purple line right there, the famous 50 period moving average, keyword being 50. So as time goes by, that line is going to move itself higher and higher and get, just keep up with the price. So essentially, it's just an overall trend line that'll draw itself for you. As far as areas of resistance, nothing fancy or complicated here. Literally just a question of where did the momentum finally stop today, and that was right up there at $2.80. So keep a close eye on 280, although last 30 minutes here, you can see the price is trying to get back up in that area and push up through that. So if it can the price get up there and break through it? That'll be an interesting dynamic. But all in all, a very impressive move today. Next one, ICCM, another very nice mover today with some well-defined levels headed into Wednesday. First level is going to be that trend line that you just saw on RDHL, an upward sloping trend line, which is always a very interesting one because in theory, the price could never break above that trend line, but that would still mean that the price is still putting in new highs because this does have an upward slope to it. So that's one of those trend lines which you don't really hate to see because, like I said, even if the price never ever breaks above it, that doesn't mean that the price is not putting in new highs. So with this sort of dynamic, it definitely can. In terms of areas of support, so if you like to play pullbacks, then an interesting level from that angle right down there around $1.23. So let me change that to green. So keep an eye on that. But all in all, a nice upwards movement here. Big solid movement would not, shock me at all if the price does need to go sideways here a little bit before making another move upwards. But as long as the price build those higher bases, that's what it's all about. But between RDHL and then ICCM, this price range here definitely had some huge movers today. Speaking of big movers, here we are looking at TSLA Tesla. And I say big movers, yes, because it did have a big upwards movement, but even from a technical standpoint, very, very powerful day as it was not only able to break above that key level resistance, it was also able to go all the way up to that area of resistance and not only go up to it, break through that level, and then just keep on going. So that's what I mean by a very, very strong day here on Tesla. In fact, we'll squeeze things down here so you can just get a better idea of how things, have played out from a bigger picture standpoint. But I'm going to go ahead and get rid of these levels here as they serve their purpose and do our first update, which again is based on that foundational rule and levels of resistance are broken and closed above. You want to see them act as support. So in the very near term, initial area of support now going to be right there around the 243.50 mark. In terms of areas of resistance, grab your popcorn because there is quite the well-defined level here that you got to think everybody and their brother's uncle is going to be watching right up there at basically 247. Looking back here, you can see 247 was a problem area. And then once again this afternoon, never hit it exactly, but got close enough to say that, yeah, once more, this area is acting as a problem. Does not mean the price can't push through it. I'm just pointing out that that's going to be one of those areas that apparently the sellers are still hanging out at. And if the price can push up through there, I think it's valid to think that there might be some stop losses down, behind there from the shorts, which could create just that much more of an upwards movement. But the other nice thing is you got to think a lot of people are watching that level. Tesla is a very popular stock. So when a lot of people are watching the same levels, wondering the same things, call it a self-fulfilling prophecy, call it whatever you want, it can produce some dynamic movement. So no guarantees, but is it valid to think that if the price comes up there and pushes up through it, that break could create additional buying pressure? That is certainly a reasonable conclusion. Next one here, BITF. Very, very nice pattern here. And going back to that whole talking point of those self-fulfilling prophecies, that's essentially what I would say we have right here. Got to think a lot of people have noticed this pattern and are drawing in something, maybe not exactly like this, but very, very similar to these lines here. So resistance, the green line, support, and then maybe make it a little easier to see. Let's keep it one color. So we have our resistance, we have our support, we have the big upwards move here. If you golfers out there try to make it a little bit more visual, put the golf hole down here. So this would be known as a bull pennant pattern. Again, no guarantees, but is it plausible? Is it reasonable that if the price can come up to the top part of this pattern and break up through it, that break in and of itself could create additional buying pressure? In my mind, that is certainly a plausible scenario. So if you like stocks down below $5, you like bull pennant patterns, definitely keep an eye on it. Next one here, AMC, and unfortunately, we got our answer, which was a very exciting question to ask when this big move happened here. That became a very, very valid question of, wow, is this the start of something bigger, or is this just a dead cat bounce? And we have our answer. That was ultimately a dead cat bounce. What gives me the right to call that a dead cat bounce? Well, let's think about where the price was before that nice bounce happened. It was right down here. Let's now take a look at where the price is currently at. Right back in that same area. And that's not what truly strong moves. Truly strong moves make progress. They don't go back to where they were. Now, to be fair, I'm not saying that another nice move can never happen. I'm just saying as far as this nice move over here was concerned, it ultimately turned out to just simply be a dead cat bounce. So going back into the current moment here, I'm going to get rid of that level because ultimately from a resistance standpoint, just keep a very close eye on that purple line there, 50-period moving average. And who knows, maybe some sort of sideways channel here forms because you do have this area of support down here, which to give some credit where credit's due, at least the price held above there today. But does the price now just kind of start to chop around where the price does something like this? Comes up, down, up, down, up, down as it just trapped. So if I extend this, because again, that's a moving average, so that line's going to move itself sideways. So does something like that happen? That remains to be seen. But on the bright side of things, at least the price didn't go to completely new lows by breaking down through that level of support down there at $6.50. But nonetheless, yeah, as far as that big bounce was concerned, it has been completely wiped away, and the price has gone right back to where it was before that move even happened. Real quick, want to take a break and personally invite you to get signed up for this free live online class that I'm offering here very soon. So if you've been enjoying what you've seen and you want to learn more about this tool, how it can and should be used to build consistency and manage risk, then definitely get signed up for the free class. If you're watching on YouTube, there's a link down below in the description box, or if you're watching at my website, there's an area right there on the webpage that you can click to get signed up. So like I said, if you've been enjoying, then definitely get signed up for the free live class. Next one here, ticker symbol HNRA, and very, very nice movement here. And we get to ask always an exciting question. And that question revolves around the fact that, yeah, this breakout has already happened. So now you're saying, what are you talking about? The breakout's already happened, so we've missed it. Well, you've missed that breakout right there. But the always exciting part about a breakout is it's broken out, it's shown some strength, but now we can ask the question, is this the start of something even bigger? Now think about that question. You don't get to ask, is this the start of something even bigger, if nothing worthwhile ever happens in the first place? But something worthwhile has happened, and it's twofold. You got the breakout, you got further upwards momentum. So yes, is this the start of something even bigger? Now to be fair, maybe it's not. Maybe this thing just drifts right back into oblivion, but that is a two-sided coin because, well, I mean, maybe it is, and maybe this thing keeps rocking and rolling. And, we look back at this one from a few days from now and say, geez, remember when this thing was just right around that $4 mark? So that still remains to be seen, but that's what a watch list is all about. Finding unique, finding interesting situations, and not randomly rushing out and buying stuff, but watching it and seeing if it behaves the way you want to see it. So if you find these sorts of scenarios worthwhile and exciting, then definitely keep an eye on it. Next one here, WHLR, our first penny stock of the watch list here. And overall, I'm going to go through this a little quicker because you've already heard me essentially talk about this, but we have ourselves another bull pennant type pattern. So there's our area of resistance. There is our area of support. And then just to make it a little bit easier to see, we'll keep it one color again. So we have our resistance, we have our support, we have the big upwards move here, we have the golf hole down here. So another bull pennant pattern. The only difference here really is that it's a penny stock. So maybe you do like bull pennants, but you only really trade penny stocks. Well, here you go. I definitely keep an eye on this one. Next one here, FTCH. Had to been some sort of news. I don't know what the news was. Honestly, I don't really care because the chart's telling me everything I need to know. The market apparently liked the news, whatever it was, because during that 30-minute session, you can see huge volume, and more importantly, it's not like the price came up here and then just went straight back down. And if you've traded long enough, I'm sure you've seen those sorts of scenarios. Did not happen here. It leveled off, and sure, it's not still exploding, but it's going sideways, but the key being it's going sideways at a much higher level, which sets up for, an interesting scenario. So let's get a couple of these areas mapped out as far as trend line right there. Keep an eye on that from a resistance standpoint, and then from a support angle right down here around that level. And you can see that we're once again getting a form of a bull pennant pattern. Resistance, support, huge move up right there, golf hole down here. So we have ourselves another bull pennant pattern. And what's a little bit more unique about this one is it was basically dead for the first part of the day until that news came out. Huge explosion, volume stayed strong, nice bull pennant. So when people are doing their scanners, you got to think people will be coming across it, which introduces that idea of potential self-fulfilling prophecies. So Wednesday is definitely going to be quite interesting. Next one here, ticker symbol PLTR. Very nice movement today on this one. Came up to this red line here at 1960 and is now actually up above it, which is what you want to see. I am going to go ahead and get rid of that level though, because in all actuality, for simplicity's sake, we can just use these moving averages right here. You can see the pink line there, which is the 200 period moving average. Purple line, is the 50 period moving average. And hard to see, but they're basically on top of one another right there. So it's really just a matter of we can use that as our area of support, which is important because as we talked about with AMC, this has been a very nice move. Is this the start of something bigger? Well, let's see if it can make progress. And I'm defining progress as staying up above those moving averages, because if the price comes down here and breaks down below, what has that done? Well, that has put the price right back into that range where it just was, which, as we established with AMC, not exactly a sign of true strength. You want to see price movements make progress because nothing can go straight up, but you do want to see progress. And again, in this situation, quote unquote, progress being defined as staying above those moving averages right there. As far as areas of resistance are concerned, key level to watch moving forward now going to be, actually, let me squeeze this out, right there at the $20 mark. So $20 next key battleground. But all in all, good day today for PLTR. Let's see if it can start to show those signs of progress moving forward. Next one, TQQQ, which is an ETF that measures the NASDAQ. So if you believe the NASDAQ market is going to rise, this one will also rise. It makes it a very popular ETF. And on that note, you can see, check out here, the last 30 minutes. Very, very impressive close to the day here. Big green candle. So last 30 minutes. Quite impressive, and we'll see if that momentum carries into Wednesday. And I'm actually I'm going to go ahead and get rid of this level here as I, did not. What I'm curious now about is this trend line right there. I think that's going to be an area that a lot of people will be watching, and the price, as I speak, is getting closer and closer to trying to do battle with it. So it seems reasonable to think that on Wednesday there's going to be a battle right there. Who wins out in that battle? Do the Bears win? Do the Bulls win? That all remains to be seen. But just given the strength of this final 30-minute candle, it's definitely getting within range of that level. So yeah, let's see who can win that battle, assuming that it does happen, which again I think is a relatively nothing's guaranteed, but a reasonable assumption to have. As far as areas of support, I'm just going to clean things up a little bit and get rid of that level, because after today, I would say we now have established that, definitely the key level to watch is that 43.75 mark, which I talked about previously, but you can see it acted as support there, and then you fast forward to earlier this morning, did a great job. Check out this big old pullback, and oh, what a coincidence, right where it bounced right at that green line, which is the power of charts. So I'll turn that into a quick sales or a plug to go get signed up. Yeah, it's a sales pitch to go get signed up for that free class. So go get signed up for that, because we have a perfect example right there on the power of charts. So yes, in my mind, it's all about that trend line there. Can the price get up there? Will it break it? And if it does break it, is that going to be the next round of momentum that returns back to the NASDAQ? We'll see what happens. So that wraps up the top 10 list. Again, if you like what you saw here and you want to get signed up for that free class, then go get signed up. It'll be Thursday, November 30th at 7 p.m. Eastern time. So I hope to see you there. As far as these top 10 videos are concerned, if you enjoy these, if you'd like for me to continue to make these, please do a couple things for me. Hit that like button and leave a simple comment. Say hi. Tell me what you traded today. Tell me what you're watching for tomorrow. But those two things really help out the channel. And then also, if you have any sort of questions, you can leave those down below too. But hit that like button, leave a comment, leave a question if you need to, and then go get signed up for that free class. Thanks for watching.